What is up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. My name is Splattercat. Very happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while and check out a game that has been near and dear to my heart for a while. I played this game a lot, honestly. I'll be straightforward. I played this game a lot in my free time, and I followed the development very, very closely because it's one of those games I fell in love with, but I felt like it had a lot of problems with the initial alpha, and I'm pleased to say that the final edition is just so good and so rewarding and so much fun. And I think that's why I tend to care about things. And I tend to have such, like, vehement opinions about them, is because I care, and I want the game to be super awesome, and it's frustrating to see potential squandered. And I work in the indie genre, which means that potential squandered is basically par for the course. Glad to see this game didn't fall in that pit, though. Bunch of new locations in town we can go to. Ancestors' Memoirs. We can go to the Tavern for stress relief. We can go to the Abbey for stress release. We can go to the Graveyard to take a look at our dead characters. The one that I'm waiting to unlock is the Guild and the Blacksmith. The earlier you upgrade these, the happier and more successful you will be. I can promise you that. Upgrading abilities and upgrading gear in this game is really, really important. And speaking of gear, we got a bunch of stuff to sell. He gets minus 10 speed on the first round. They take away one bicycle on the first round. You lost 110 speed. We've got stun resist. I'll probably sell that. So that's a little bit of gold. Definitely going to sell that because the 1500 is way more useful than we have right now. That's the only one that I'm a little bit on the fence about. The stolen bicycle at the beginning of the first round is a little bit troublesome. But his scout chance, what is his scout chance? Scouty chance, where are you? I'm going to do the scouty dance just for you. It kind of rhymed. I mean, I guess you can go with, like, you and you as long as the things that precede it rhyme. And you'd like one of those little Kanye tricks or something. Let's go check our stagecoach. I'm going to do this at the beginning of every single day. This place is underwhelming. Just arrives. That's how I feel whenever I get to a popular tourist place. I get there and I just don't feel... It's, for example, it's like the mystery spot. It's super overrated. Everybody's like, you should go to the mystery spot if you come to California. It's so overrated. Don't go. Go, instead of the mystery spot, go to the Winchester Mystery House. It is...
The thrill of the hunt. The promise of payment.
So we've got a bounty hunter. Bounty hunter's a pretty good character in that he can fill in just about anywhere in your party. So if you're ever building a group and you have just one extra slot and you don't know what to put inside of it, the bounty hunter has a lot of synergies. And so if you have an arbalest in your group, you probably want to take the bounty hunter. If you have the occultist, you probably want to take the bounty hunter. It's because this game uses a mechanic called marking, where essentially you'll point out an enemy for death, and then a bunch of people in your party will have abilities that specifically do like double damage or have like 20% extra crit or whatever versus that foe so long as they strike him. It's a pretty cool little mechanic and you should definitely utilize it. We got a leper. That's good. In my stream playthrough...
understands that adversity and existence are one and the same.
The leper is one of my favorite characters in the entire game. Just an all-around really, really great character. And during my stream, I didn't get one until probably like week 10 or something like that. I run lepers a lot. They're really, really, really good. Especially if they come... See, this is the perfect leper. This is pretty much the build that I use on my leper. Sometimes I'll take Revenge instead, but... He came with the perfect abilities. He's clumsy, so he loses dodge, but lepers don't have any dodge anyway, so it doesn't matter. And he's Sidiomanic, which I guess means that he's obsessed with food. I think that means when he walks by old corpses, he tries to eat them. He's got a couple abilities. He's got Chop. Now, the leper's shtick is that he hits really, really, really hard with this big Buster Sword looking thing that he's got. The downside is that he's inaccurate and he misses a lot. However, they eased back off that a little bit in a couple of the previous patches, and so his accuracy used to be like 60. I think they buffed it up to like 75 or something a while back, and ever since then, he's been like one of my favorite characters in terms of design and in terms of utilization. We've got Withstand, an incredible ability for getting rid of stress. We've got Solemnity, which is once again a really, really good ability. All-around solid player. Seriously, lepers, always a huge part of any melee group. You can change their colors if you want. I don't know if you're into that or if that's something that's attractive to people. In general, I tend to leave the colors alone. I like the default colors that they used to. I think that's the default color right there that they had in the original alpha. I would like to see... One of the things that I wish the game had was that as you upgrade their abilities, they would become more epic looking. They would look less ragtag. Because if you put like 5 levels into their gear... I know it'd be a lot of work because of the sprites that the game used, or however the game is programmed. These are all one big contiguous piece, and so it's not modular. It's easy to swap things out like textures and whatnot in 3D games because it's just a skin that goes over the top of it. In games like this, it's a little bit more challenging, but I think the effort would be worth it. Hell, I'd pay for it. I'd pay like $3.99, $4.99 for a DLC like that. And finally, we've got an Abomination. The Abomination...
Tortured and reclusive. This man is more dangerous than he seems.
The Abomination is a really, really overpowered character. That being said, he has some serious downsides. Certain party members will not hang out with him. He's a lycanthrope, so he turns into a werewolf as his ability, which raises your party's stress, but it makes him a killing machine, an utter annihilating killing machine. It's kind of a last resort ability. You fall back on it when you're in deep shit, and it tends to dig you on out. It is the shovel by which you shall dig yourself out of the deep well. And so, or it's the ladder by which Ricky Tikki Timbo will get out of the well. Anyways, the Abomination, though, his downside is that he raises the stress of your group, and anybody with a holy affiliation will not be seen with him. So, for example, Vestals won't travel with him. I don't think Crusaders will travel with him. I don't know if Lepers will travel with him. We should try that real fast. I know the Leper is religious, so... Here, you guys get out the party real fast. There we go. Put in a Leper. Yeah. And so, he actually... has faith. And so anybody that is of faith will not be seen with the Abomination. However, he is a good class. If you can create a party that fits him, he can be pretty strong. We don't have any of those people right now. So, for example, you can run 3 Abominations and you can run a Jester. I like Jester. I could go Jester, Occultist, maybe Hellion, and then Abomination. That'd be kind of nice. That would work a little bit, but there are parties you can work him into. We just haven't really done it yet. I don't know if I want to bring Fuji along on this one. We might bring somebody else. Give them some shine time.
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The Abbey calls to the faithful.
It's too late to change it now, so I'm going to take Fuji to the cloister. Fuji's going to chill for a little bit, and that should get her stress reduced over time. I do like upgrading some of this stuff in here early on in the game. I tend to focus pretty heavily on the church, just because most people don't tend to have restrictions on getting their stress taken care of at the church, whereas with drinking and gambling and all that kind of stuff, I notice a lot of quirks that keep people from being able to properly utilize the tavern. So in general, I tend to spend my money aggressively on the church first. I'm going to go ahead and increase our stage work, or our stagecoach network one more time. I'm going to make the barracks a little bit larger too.
Ambition is stirring in distant cities. We can use this.
We need to get a bunch more. I don't know what just happened. My tooth squeaked. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Teeth aren't supposed to squeak. I was talking and a bubble was just like squeak at the front of my... It was odd. It was a very, very weird moment. My tooth just farted. Anyways, we've got the Hero Barracks, and this upgrade right here, it serves a purpose. I don't think you'll ever need more than 16 heroes, but I tend to keep it around 16 or so that I have a full roster. I like to have 2 top-tier teams and then 2 lower-tier teams, because there's actually gates in this game where after you get to a certain level, you can't do easy dungeons anymore, and so you always need to have lower-level people to grab those random trinkets from the lower-level dungeons once you out-level them. And so I tend to have a team that goes first that is highly leveled and highly polished, and then I tend to have kind of like a 3rd string or a 4th string team that runs out and grabs random trinkets I want from the low-level dungeons once we get there. So let's run Reynald, Greslet, let's run Dismas, and let's run Fitzherbert. That group looks pretty solid right there. I'm happy with it. Did I give him the cloak? Let's go with the cloak. Even though it takes our bicycle away, I think we'll be pretty solid. To this day, by the way, I don't know why I remember this, but the KKK Took My Baby Away is still one of my favorite Ramones songs. To this day, I will rock that shit all day long. I love that song. The Ramones are one of my favorite bands. I don't know if I ever talked about that here on the channel, but I like the Ramones a lot. The Ramones are one of those bands, like the first time I heard them, I fell instantly in love. And even though it's just power chord punk rock, it's so good. It's the same reason I like the Sex Pistols. It's simple, it's to the point, it's not like intellectual listening, but at the same time, it rocks hard enough and it's catchy enough to where, yeah, I want to listen to that. I got that right there. I don't tend to bring Anti-Venom or Uncle Venom. Venom of any sort, really, of any familial connection. I'll probably leave those back on this side and just do my thing. Clock my game. I always forget things. Always. If I ever get quiet right before we deploy and embark, it's because I'm staring at my inventory list trying to figure out what I forgot. Because I always forget something, and then I post it on the internet, and people say I'm stupid. I'm just like, ah, I don't want to be stupid. I wasn't ready. Alright, so we got that right there. Actually, I got to see Kevin Hart. I saw him in Oakland the last time he was there. Pretty sweet. He shut down the freeway in Oakland. I don't know if you knew that, but when Kevin Hart came to town, the freeway into Oakland, all the way back to probably, God, all the way to like the back end of Vallejo. It was the freeway was done because of that concert. You weren't going nowhere. We left like 4 hours early for the show, and we got there like 20 minutes before it started because you're just sitting in traffic. Everybody was going to the show. It was a big deal. Kevin Hart's pretty funny.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Must they, though? Apparently we were train conductors or something before this place fell apart. The seat of our noble line. That's what he said. Wonder if we've got short line. We collect all those railroads, you can make a decent amount of money. It's rare in Monopoly that I ever get all the railroads, though. Oh, one big bug down.
A faint hope blossoms.
You gotta be kind of worried about these guys, so what'll happen is the spiders can stun you and they can mark you, and then the maggots, I think, deal more damage when you're marked. Or, even worse, if you get 4 spiders, you can either be stun locked or you can be marked and just ravaged, and it's a little bit unfortunate. Let's take that to the second line. Ah, spider's too dodgy. Ain't nothing dodgier than a spider. Oh, really? That spider got the hell out of the way. He's making me look foolish right now.
We require only the strength to follow it.
Doesn't really matter, though, because Renaud spit his hot rhymes and destroyed him. The crate is empty inside. He had a rough upbringing. A couple girlfriends left him. He's just been empty inside ever since. Popping that torch, being on our way. Trying to get inside the dungeon all day. This looks like it has treasures inside of it. So I'm going to go this way. Also, fighting means that I get more treasure. And so I'm not against it. Tempting Goblet's going to raise our stress a little bit. Something about getting liquor thrown on your favorite shirt really causes problems. He took it right. That's not the face that somebody makes when they don't want to be splashed with a fluid. That's the face that they make right near the end when they're getting paid for it. They'd be like, yeah, get it on me. I will probably run stuns on the little guys in the back just to keep them out of the way while we cleave through the front lines. These guys are going to get their graveyard slashes first, focusing pretty heavily on Dismas, which is nerve-wracking, but it's not going to save them. No quarter will be given. In this arcade, we run on credit. And credit is only bought with that ass. Monsters. On this side, let's go ahead and throw out a nice forceful stab on our bony friend here. He resisted the bleed check. Unfortunate, because I was hoping he would bleed to death if the damage was not enough to kill him. Stun's going to nullify his turn, and he's going to get a buff right there that makes it so you can't stun lock people anymore. Stun locking was a really, really popular strategy when this game first came out. The developers put an ending to that with a quickness. Keep running those AoEs and trying to get rid of these cats. Probably could have... whatever, doesn't matter. Ooh, the dodginess right now. Man, that RNG is getting us. We got a lot of dodges this fight. Like a lot of dodges. That's one of the reasons I would recommend upgrading. By the way, the stun resist only lasts 1 turn, so you can still stun lock in a limited regard. I'm gonna have you stress heal real fast, man. Feel better. I don't want your stress to be too high. You should always use the back end of fights to do like maintenance work, so lower your stress, throw off some heals, drag your feet, but don't drag your feet too long because if you start stalling turns and cheese moding the game, basically like chain stunning and healing everybody up to full, the game recognizes it now and the game will punish you. Please don't touch that. We need to use a key on this. If you use anything else, I think you get booby trapped. And so if you use a key on it, though, you get treasure out. And I love treasure. Let's go after the books. Why not? Reading a few pages had a lasting effect on the hero. He is now mankind hater. So he read a book and he learned how to hate. The wonders of literacy. The wonders of literacy. Little did he know Stormfront has been running around the dungeon, just leaving their pamphlets, their little leaflets and polemics all over the place. And so now we have a racist paladin in our group. How great is that? Racist paladin, a gassy cleric, a rogue who for some reason just likes to see things bleed. This right here, you use herbs on it, as I recall. and it'll give you treasure. And sometimes I guess somebody was storing food inside of an Iron Maiden. I don't know. This is what we have to be careful about, because she will on occasion just like grab this thing. And I think there's a couple things that can happen right here. If you consecrate the confessional with holy water, you have, I think, a 50% chance to lose a negative trait, or the other 50% you get a buff. So I'm going to do it. The ritual has relieved the hero. So there it is. They got stress relief. So apparently it's like a 30-30-30 type deal. I haven't been on the wiki. Oh shit, we got the collector. That's not good. That's kind of terrible for a low-level party. The collector is basically a mini-boss. He's not who you want to get this early in the game. I think if we were leveled a little bit more and I'd upgraded my gear once and maybe upgraded my abilities once, I'd feel more confident about this. We also got a pretty terrible roll, so my recommendation is going to be to run and retreat. I don't think we can take the collector this early on in the game, and unfortunately the collector is going to wait right there for us, so we're going to have to abandon this quest. I don't think we have much of a choice. I do not think this group can take the collector. I think we're basically just throwing their lives away, and so that being considered, we're going to have to take a hit on this one, I think. Ah, well.
Great adversity has a beauty. It is the fire that tempers.
It's not so bad. We made a little bit of money. If they get a bunch of negative traits from this, though, it might be a little bit more troublesome. That one doesn't matter. That one definitely matters, so weak grip is going to have to go if we want to keep him. And in fact, we're probably going to have to fire a lot of people in this group. That was a really, really bad collector roll.
All the decadent horrors I have seen pale in comparison to that final, crowning thing. I could not look, nor could I look away.
So for right now, Vaudeville is actually a better rogue than Dismas. He misses the spot, so he loses crit. Wow, his crit is taking a major hit. He's got like all empty, or I'm sorry, he's got all negative crit stats. I know people are going to disagree with me on that choice right there and say I should have fought it out.
The abyss. One must know it.
But realistically, I don't think we had a chance of taking the collector with an unupgraded group. Like I said, if I had had the level 1 weapon upgrade, and if I had had the level 1 upgrades for all of their abilities, I would have felt much more confident about sticking it out and just seeing if maybe we could take him. But our group was A, not built for backline combat, which is troublesome. And then B, they got a healer and they got the tank in their role. So when you fight the collector, he copies some of the characters from the game and he summons them with Collect Call. We got the Man-at-Arms, who's a tank, and we also got the healer, the Vestal, which means that fight was just going to be a mess. We had a little bit of an issue right there.
This man understands that adversity and existence are one and the same.
Calmet is a lot worse than Greslet. Greslet has really, really good abilities. It might be worth it to heal Greslet just because buying these 2 abilities on another leper will cost us about 2,000 gold, and healing his stress should only cost us about 1,000. Vaudeville.
Elusive, evasive, persistent. Righteous traits for a rogue.
Got quick reflexes, hard noggin. Gonna make some hard decisions right now because we don't have a lot of money. So curing people is not necessarily an option right now.
Of youth may be spent, but his eyes hold the secrets of 100 campaigns.
I'm gonna try and keep who we have for right now. I think it's a wise decision. She's got guilty conscience, which means I can send her off to drink in here. That was an expensive loss for us.
And curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
However, this does leave us with opportunities. So bad things happen in this game. You just need to get used to that. Sometimes things are not going to go your way.
Once again, the Forge stands ready to make weapons of war.
Our bellowing friend here actually is probably one of the most useful locations in the game. This is where you're going to upgrade people's weaponry and people's armor from, and you should stay on top of this. Characters that you want to keep, i.e. characters that you don't want to die, you're going to want them to have upgraded gear, because that sometimes will be the only thing that gives them that dodge. at a moment's notice. It'll buff their damage. It'll make them more useful. Essentially, I would upgrade weapons before anything else, and then after that, I would upgrade second abilities. I would worry about trinkets last. They tend to be kind of hit or miss anyways. Let's embark. We've still got enough money to where we'll be okay. But, the Stalwart Buckle. For the Highwayman, we have to do 100% of room battles. This can go either way. I've walked into dungeons like this and killed the first room, and then it's been perfectly fine. And then I've also had to clear every single room in the entire dungeon on occasion. It just kind of goes both ways. Giggity. We've got Columbells. His new name is Colin. So he's got crappy range skill, crit, and he will not pray or flagellate for stress release. Well, if you can't flatulate for stress relief, what can you do in life? He's also got kind of bad abilities, not the worst. I prefer that instead of Hands from the Abyss, he would have Demon's Pull. And I think instead of Wakening Curse, I'd rather have him with Abyssal Artillery. That being said, though, he's got the most important ability, which is Word Reconstruction, which is really, really useful. So I like the fact that they brought in like some characters that are a little bit different from things you've seen in games before. Like, I very much enjoy the fact that they brought in like an occult Muslim. I forget the name of that, like the mystical branch of Islam. But either way, I like that they brought in sort of a Cthulhu-obsessed Islamic occultist. I like that there's like different types of characters in this game that you haven't really seen before in other games. Very, very unique type characters. I'll probably take Calmet. Actually, let's bring Moron. His name's Moron now. I don't know. That's what I'm going to call him. Moron has Thin-Blooded, which means his blight resists his duty, but he's got great flavored pants, so that's all that matters. We got Crush 1. We've got Rampart, which moves him forward by 1. Looks like it does knockback 1 and a stun. Damage mod is a little bit low right there. What did he have? Let's bring him instead. We're going to run him like that. And then our third line person is going to have to be... Actually, Bertrand's a good choice right here. Because this guy can mark on the turns that he's not healing people. I mean, another really, really solid choice would be our Plague Doctor, too. Because sometimes when he casts a heal on people, it makes them bleed. The Plague Doctor can just be like, bling, and then just like take that off. And so these two also have pretty remarkable synergy. Let's provision. I'm going to take this group right here. I like it. We'll go with 7 torches. We'll go with 12 food. Hopefully we don't get collectored again. That sucks. The collector is not that difficult. He's definitely something that can be handled. It's just unfortunate we got him so early on in our adventures. Normally I'm not a retreat type person, which is why that last dungeon was sort of upsetting.
And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
I'm very much a stand your ground and fight type of individual when it comes to my mentality. I'm actually kind of surprised he hasn't kleptoed anything yet. 50 gold coins inside of a sack. Not really that valuable. Ooh, stepped on a trap. Broke your mother's back.
Traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
Well, at least the traps aren't sprung. That would just make the whole thing awkward. Traps sitting there all sprung, eyeballing you, making eye contact, licking their lips. I'm not okay with this, trap. I'm not okay with this. I'm a modern man. You will treat me with respect. We've surprised our enemies, and so now we will crush them and hear the lamentation of their women that they don't have. I'm going to poison the back line. I'm going to point-blank shot that guy right there. Never underestimate point-blank shot. Seriously, I'll show you the stats for point-blank shot next time, and I promise you're going to be like, damn, son, that's pretty gnarly. And I agree. It's a gnarly ability. It has, like, a huge chance to crit. It has a big damage modifier to begin with. Tempting Goblet to the back line. Those robes are silk, too. That'd be super upsetting. Getting that shit all over my velour. It's not right. That's why you don't wear velour into the dungeon, though. I told him. I said you should wear something preferably made of rubber, in all honesty. Something you could just wipe off afterwards. We could take you back out in the backyard, hose you off. I'm sure it'll be fine, but he didn't listen. He didn't listen. Ah, we almost got him, but we didn't. A shank to the ribs from our dear little skeletal friend with his beret and his fuzzy collar. I wish I had a fuzzy collar. Oh, he's got Duelist Advance, too. Well, he's going to be super useful then. This guy is a solid character at this point. That was a pretty terrible heal. At least he didn't catch the bleed, though. Oh, little dodge there on the back end. Throw a screw into stuff. Ah, Blight got him. I was going to try and... We got a Prot Stone. That's pretty cool. Might be a little bit better later on, but actually, no, I wanted him in front. This is a really, really good character. I didn't realize that he had Duelist Advance either, so he's going to do pretty well for us, I think. The question is, do we let the light level fall off so that we can make more money, since we're a little bit in the hole right now? Since I already paid for torches, I'm going to go ahead and answer that question with a no. But in any other situation, I might be tempted had I not brought so many torches. Got shovels right there, so that's nice and easy peasy lemon squeezy. I tend to play this game very, very quickly. I know some people are going to want me to go slower and sort of talk about the random things that are going on, but I'll go ahead and take care of the spider's dodge so that the spider can get handled. I'm also going to throw out... How much health does it have? 6, so that won't be enough to kill it with Blight. Stun resist right there. Let's go ahead and shoot the first maggot. I don't like how the maggots have little tongues. They kind of look like the things from the end of Starship Troopers, right? That's what they look like. They look like miniature versions from the Brainsucker or whatever it is. From Starship Troopers. I watched that the other day. Starship Troopers is great. My dad took my mom. They had an anniversary. My dad tricked my mom into seeing Starship Troopers on their anniversary. Pretty hilarious story, all things considered. My dad, I don't know why my mom trusts my dad to take her to the movies ever. Because he always does. It's funny, but he does it every time. Their first date, when they met, was Apocalypse Now. And he's constantly... My dad's a funny guy. My dad thinks that there's nothing better than a well-played prank. And this party's gonna get expensive, isn't it? This party's gonna get expensive, I can tell already. We're gonna be paying for all kinds of shit by the time we're out of here. Yeah, mess with the book, whatever. The volumes are desiccated and unremarkable. But didn't you just remark on them? Like, that was a remark right there. Can you truly say they were unremarkable if you had to mention it in a remark? The irony of the situation is heavy right now. The Iron E weighs heavily upon us in the most alphabetical of ways. Looks like we got a bunch of fights in front of us. Jesus. Well.
The light, the promise of safety.
Once more into the breach, my friend. Not to be confused with once more into the breaches, which is what we do when cash gets a little low around here. Huh. Getting a lot of resists. Oh well. 1 dead skelly, 2 dead skellies, gonna kill 3, and I bet it makes you jelly. I want to go with... Let's lower his dodge. For exactly that reason right there. We absolutely 100% need to get some deeds so that we can upgrade people's accuracy. I forgot how inaccurate people are when you first start out. It is becoming a thing. And actually, the easiest way to do this would be like so. Oh man, we missed, huh? I'll Duelist Advance him then. He's actually paying him out right there. The Duelist Advance is a nice thing that people that are into fencing might do for one another. If you are particularly friendly in your fencing class, you might give somebody a Duelist Advance in case they can't afford their class fees or whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta help a friend out. Help a homie. The Help a Homie hotline here at the Nerd Castle. Keep blowing up corpses here. Heal thyself. He caught a bleed. My hope was that that was gonna miss, but it's okay. We've got band-aids.
This expedition at least promises success.
I don't know, man. We're only like halfway through, and we got a lot of fights left.
Is struck. A blazing star is born.
Oh, hey, first things first. Stun bomb to the back line. We got to resist. A little unfortunate. Can't be helped. Oh, and a miss right there, too. Just squandering our opening on the enemy. Disappointing. Let's throw out some debuffs. I don't really know. We're having troubles right now. We are having some troubles. Big dodge right there, so at least it's going both ways. This guy's just hanging out. You know, honestly, if I had pecs like that, I'd probably wear armor like that all the time, too. It's just one follows the other, you know what I mean? Oh, shit.
Blow to body and brain.
Okay. That's not good. Let's go ahead and spread around a little blight. It figures. Bad luck is bad luck. When bad luck is bad luck is bad luck. That could be problematic. Definitely problematic. Not super problematic, but still problem. Oh, I should have done that. That was also stupid. It's okay, though. I'll keep him in the back for right now while I work him forward. I should be able to fix this before anything else goes wrong. Dodge the Eldritch Pull right there. That's why I go after them pretty violently. Is because that Eldritch Pull can really screw up your fight. It can cause your entire party to lose a turn, which can be devastating in a close fight. He's still got pistol shot, which is one of the reasons why I'm not too upset that it put him further back in the line. He's still not dead, huh? Man, I keep waiting for him to go down, but doesn't appear to be working like that. You work your way through the front lines. If you can slide him forward a little bit, he loses his ability to fire quarrels, and then he has to stab you. He becomes less quarrelsome, I guess. That's perfect. That looks good. And then we'll move you forward. I want him to...
The weapon that cuts on its own.
I wanted him to get a turn so we could spam out another heal. It's okay. We got extra food. For right now, we've got a locked sarcophagus. Anything that says locked, use a key on it. Seriously. It sounds obvious, but sometimes you don't notice. My name is Splattercat. We're out of time for the day. I will see you all in the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. Hi to everybody. I'll see you there.